Hey guys, this video is something different. Cliff Empire is a city builder game I played when it first came out of early access in August 2019. I meant to upload my finished build back then, but never got round to it. And now 2 years later, nobody cares anymore, I'm sure, but I've always been super proud of actually making it into the endgame, because this game is fucking hard. And since I'm still struggling with inflammation in my fingers and can't really game right now, I've decided to make a video of Cliff Empire after all, to keep this channel alive during this very frustrating time in my life. And Cliff Empire is an awesome game that sold for just $10 and was insane value for money. It took me 90 hours, and 4 attempts to reach the end game, because I'm not a strategic player, okay? And I wanted to build something pretty most of all. My goal was to have each of 3 cliffs be a different theme. I wanted a food cliff, an industry/tech cliff, and an office skyscraper/hotel cliff. On the internet, I read that this sort of design is very unpractical and almost impossible to do because the space is so limited. Well, I did it! And it took forever, okay? But I have proof in numbers that all my cliffs, as well as the orbital station in a huge city on the ground, are very profitable and now could run forever basically. I have successfully beat the game and created a really pretty society. Now of course the game looks squeaky clean and pretty no matter what, but I actually put a lot of thought into the aesthetics. As you can see on the right, each cliff has different stats. The tech cliff here has shit soil, shit amount of groundwater, not enough sunshine, and wind energy kinda sucks too. Yeah, great. The office cliff has even shittier soil fertility, but it's a good place for wind and solar energy. Aren't these numbers beautiful, guys? By the way, I kept the vanilla names of the different cliffs. Boring, I know. I just forgot to do funny names for this video, okay? For food production, I of course chose a cliff that has perfect soil fertility, but it is really difficult to power because there's barely any sunshine or wind, and nuclear power is also a problem. I don't have financial statistics for this cliff because you need a specific building for it and I couldn't afford the extra space, but as you can see, I'm rich! The orbital station is empty now. As you can see, I have moved all the colonists. The station is only useful for power distribution now. Unlike other city builders, this game has a finite number of people. The goal is to defrost them all and repopulate the toxic world again. The endgame is moving most people to the ground and keeping everything afloat through cycles of hazards that persist until the end, as well as surviving frequent enemy attacks. Okay, let's have a closer look at my build, guys. I just love how detailed everything is in this game. You can even switch to tourist mode and see everything really close up. It's a bit wonky though, since the camera goes through buildings and everything. At some point you can build vertically too. The honeycomb style things are living quarters. The golden buildings are hotels. And then you can add upgrades to the houses. One is extra solar panels, which is very useful as you can imagine, and the other is just decorative. The round orbs are trading terminals. The more you have, the more goods you can move. You can grow food on the side of the cliffs too, which frees up space for the orchards. It's best to have housing on each cliff because there's a limit to how many people can commute from cliff to cliff by train. I do have some commuters, but not very many. These large dark drones that look military operate on the ground actually, supplying the heavy industry there. At some point you need the extra energy generated at the bottom. I just adore the lighting in this game, guys. Nights are so damn pretty. Look at this. By the way, my nerdy base building career started with city builder games. My very first one was the original SimCity on the Super Nintendo when I was a kid. Yes, I'm older than my charming youthful voice might suggest. I was born in 1984, guys. SimCity was my most played game when I was like 10. Then later I got SimCity 3000 for PC, back when ordinary work computers could run games. I used the money cheat so I could build beautiful cities without having to worry about the economy. Sadly, I ran such high debt that I had to hit the cheat key over and over and over. I think I had a monthly debt of 300,000. I put defense turrets in small corners a lot. You really need to be able to defend yourself in this game. The neon green things are air purifiers.
Trading platform arrived.
The aquarium produces fish as food, funny enough. Nuclear power is very important in this game, because cloudy days will ruin solar. Some days there's no wind, so you need a steady power source. Earthquakes will temporarily shut off nuclear plants though. During such hazards I lost so much money, oh my god. I think it's so cool that you can watch the goods get loaded into the trading terminals. So awesome. These glass buildings are bus stations, by the way. Most fancy ones I've ever seen. These skyscrapers are modular. You can stack them with any combination of housing, restaurants, doctors, lawyers, or office spaces, I think. The big cube-like building is a mall. That's why there's heavy traffic. Power plant, water plant, airport, trading terminal, and landing pad. I wanted the harbor to have an old town kind of look. It turned out really great in my opinion. The blue tube is an energy core that really helps with power once you run out of uranium. The blue glowing vertical things are batteries that store energy so that you get through the nights okay. This is the heavy industry extracting matter that is needed to produce all kinds of goods for the colonists. This is manufacturing here. You can produce two different goods or specialize in one thing, which eventually gives you a bonus. Here comes another power cell. If the timing of the supply line is just a little off for some reason, I would get in trouble so fast. If food production slows and people go hungry, they start to leave, and the more people leave, the less is produced. You see the problem here? There were at least half a dozen times after that hazard sequence when I thought, okay, I was fucked, I would never recover, and I almost quit and started over so many times. It's a miracle I made it to the end, really.
Trading platform arrived.
Behind the angel statue, that's a church. I don't remember if it does anything, however. I put a few small mansions next to the food production because I thought it looked nice. I mean, it's not a really efficient way of housing people, but efficiency was not what I was going for anyway, as you can see. You can grow grains out in the open or put them in a greenhouse. The greenhouse produces more but needs more energy. The orbital station is the second stage of the game. You can design it any way you want. Like the people on the cliffs, the inhabitants that you defrost step by step need food, medical care, and parks to relax. The orbital station is mostly an energy source though. Once you get the ground ready for full colonization, you slowly transfer all the people from the station. The final stage of the game is ground colonization. As you can see, the map is huge, way bigger than necessary, since the number of colonists is fixed. Well, one could build a lot of living quarters and office buildings, but that would be wasting money. They would stay empty. That's why I filled the map with lots of parks and statues and famous landmarks. This here is the landing pad. I thought a little cliff was the perfect entry point. Right next to it is my player home. Comes with a nice big pool and a private drone. From the pool I can look at the whale in the aquarium. It's just perfect. Above I put Notre Dame, because why not? The number of landmarks you can place is limited though, so I had to choose the best looking ones. To the left of it is a regular church. Again, why not? This is the main residential district with medical centers and schools close by. I also put the capital there. I thought it fit in well. This is the food production area, nicely separated from the city by the landscape. Oh, and these spheres are defense shields. They really help during attacks. Well, the nuclear plants are right next to the cornfields. I'm not sure if that's safe, but hey, it's the future. It will be fine, right? I put a little defense turret line below. Pretty neat. The tall building is a sanatorium next to another church, because putting those two together makes sense, right? I built a harbor in the same style as on the cliff, with a sort of old town area. Behind it, we find more modern housing and a football stadium. The top of the cool small central cliff is where I put the grand beacon that marks the end of the campaign. The whole area is one grand sprawling park, really. Right below the beacon, I placed another church. Thought that looked cool. Behind the cliff beacon on the ground is an airport. Well, two actually. Tucked away, hidden from view, because nobody likes noisy airports, right? I really like the Museum of Natural History with a stag on top. Next to it is the Grand Hotel and a few regular hotels, and another sanatorium. That side of the city is sort of the office district, but since I ran out of citizens, I couldn't build as many skyscrapers as I would have liked. This is my science district. Here you can find all the research facilities, the colleges, medical centers, and lots of trading terminals because the industrial district is right above. We also find another harbor here and all the water filtration plants. As far away as possible from downtown is the industrial and mercantile district, protected by a row of turrets. And that's it. That's my build. Gosh, nobody's going to watch this. So if anybody made it until the end, thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comments if you like my build. I had a blast with this game. I highly recommend it. It's cheap and better than the futuristic titles of the Anno series. So buy it, people!